Alrighty. Here we are. Alright, let's see here. Let's pull in um, alrighty. Here we are. Alright, that's off. Good. Okay. We are gonna go ahead and get started. Uh, ba, 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 ba. Okay, fire this up. Okay. Alright. Okay, let's get the screen capture on. Here we go. Okay, everybody. Yesterday, let's get the lo-fi. Let's get this lo-fi radio going. I liked it. Lo-fi. Join. Ready to go. This. We're gonna play. Alright. Alright, let's pull up here. Get the Twitch stream up on my phone so I can see the chat. Real quick. Alright. Twitch. Open up. Here we go. Channel. Alright. Go ahead. Okay. So, yesterday, we got stuck. And I think ChatGPT just kind of got to the point where it really couldn't go any further for whatever reason. So I decided that this morning I woke up. I know, I know of Claude. Um, I've yet to purchase Claude. I did buy ChatGPT. I did the subscription for that, and I'll probably pay for the Claude one too here in a bit. But for now, I'm trying to do things as low cost as possible. Why not? And then as I run into hurdles, I can take on costs. So I decided to kind of step back and then reapproach this with Claude. I originally went with a stack that I was familiar with, which was the React or Angular front end with .NET Entity Framework, right, back end, and I was trying to just make the GPT do everything. I didn't really want to intervene and do things outside of, because the point of this is that the AI would be able to do everything. And so if I'm doing things outside of it, then that's me, not truly seeing the limits. And ChatGPT just like lost context, right? Like if you've got a source file that it wrote and it still knows about, and it's like, oh, add logging, but then it's deleting methods that were there, and maybe I just didn't instruct it well enough to remember the whole of the source, or maybe I should feed that source back into it. I'm not sure. I mean, so maybe it was my own fault. but I just didn't like the approach, honestly. I felt like I didn't come at it enough from an automated frame of mind. Okay, so as you can see here, I said I pulled up Claude and I said I'm looking to create a system where I can write software with the help of AI. I have a basic software use case that I'm building to try to test the theory, which will let me create a small product MVP while refining prompts and supporting systems to create an automated software creation system. Okay, so Claude thinks this is interesting, to whatever that means. So it asks me the basic software use case, what kind of MVP you're looking to build, and then what aspects of software development are you hoping to automate with an enhancement. So we come back and say, to answer the first question, the MVP I'm looking to build would be an application, both web and mobile, that would allow users to give feedback and suggestions on how to improve an application. A software company or developer could sign up, and I give them the whole use case, right? And now in this, I say the whole community would then be able to vote, blah, 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 blah. Okay, so it takes what I said and it writes out these set of components, right? So core functionality, there's a developer community, company side of it, account creation and management, subscription plan selection, application registration and management, dashboard to view, manage feedback, analytics. So here's the thing that I found was really interesting is in the way I described this, because it's hard to say like they create a new application because they're not really creating an application inside of my app. They're creating, a reference to an application. So it's like there's really this embedded deep meaning between the two things that it's got to decipher. And I was really actually impressed that I was able to tease out that there's more of an application registration and management side of it than there is of the developers creating an application. And maybe, the quotes helped or something, but it really did tease the nuance out, which I thought was pretty impressive. The end user side, user registration, authentication, application discovery and search. I imagine, a user can log into the application. The main application, there could be a discovery page where they could see other applications that are there. I think that I could use that front page as a marketing tool where app developers could buy advertising space, right, for promotion, things like that, highlighting featured apps, all that kind of stuff. Eventually, that could all be based on user demographics and whatnot. There's a whole analytics side that you could actually go to. But anyway, future state. A voting mechanism, abilities to track suggestions, shared features, comment discussion system, a notification system, voting and ranking algorithm. I don't know that I really need a voting and ranking algorithm because it's the users voting on it, and the voting of the users is what's going to actually rank those suggestions. Status tracking for suggestions, under review, planned, implemented. That's exactly right. The fact that I created this with the idea of being able to rank features, and the software automatically assumes that the developer is going to need a way to indicate, hey, this is under review, we're planning it, it's being implemented, right? And having those status changes to the end user community is great intuition. For the AI assistant development approach, we should start by breaking this down into smaller manageable microservices, creating detailed specifications for each component, using AI to help generate initial code structures, API definitions, and basic implementations, iteratively refining the code with AI assistance. So exactly the approach that we really want to take. It understands the path forward. Would you like to start with a particular component? And it lays out, right? And I said, first I'd like to talk through the architecture and technology stack to use, right? So it's great to want to do a basic data model, all these things, but what's my tech stack? What's my architecture, right? Um, I want it to be fully hosted in the cloud, easily scalable, and able to be written once for web and for mobile, right? So this is kind of a different approach that I took with ChatGPT. I didn't really stop and go through. I mean, I did kind of ask it a little bit about tech stack, but I didn't really lay out specifics enough, I don't think. Anyway, I want to be able to automate each step of the process, even if that means coding a centralized tool to manage the prompts, right? So I'm gonna need something to manage when an action happens. What do we do to send a prompt to the AI to get back a result that we want, right? The AI, I treat the AI as an API, right? There's an action, I need to ask it to do something, get it back, parse it apart. I'm gonna need to, basically ask Claude for something, have it come back, and then I gotta decide what to do with that response. So if I want code, I need it to send me back code, right? That we can then put into a repository and things like that. Unless we are able to somehow hook Claude up directly, or another AI code generator directly to a repo and just let it iterate, right? So we may be able to say, hey, this is the GitHub repo. We set up automated builds for each stack, so front end, back end, database, right? Set up automated pipelines for deployment and just let it run and let it iterate and have unit tests in place that it runs until the unit test is satisfied. And then when we get the unit test complete, we say unit tests, we could have a lot of different kinds of tests there that would allow us to use as a gate for yes it worked or no it didn't. The risk of this is that it gets itself into a situation where it actually can't solve the problem, and it runs and runs and runs and runs and runs, and I end up spending a whole shit ton of money paying for a bunch of AI credits that are just churning on itself and shitting the bed. So, alright, so basically, I'm willing to do each thing manually at first, but then I want to create notes for each thing and blah 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 blah, right? Okay, so it says, okay, a great approach to building a scalable automated system. It said, let me suggest some modern cloud native architectures. Stack. Okay, so front end, React Native Web. Okay, could use Expo for easier mobile deployment and updates. So Expo mobile development. I don't know. Expo is an open source platform for making universal native apps for Android, iOS, and the web with JavaScript and React. Okay, so it looks like it's some sort of a React-based wraps around something like that. Expo and EAS are an ecosystem of tools to help you develop, review, and deploy great universal native apps. Okay, so okay, Code Academy, Pizza Hut, Blue Sky. Interesting. Okay, so MPX, Create Expo. Okay, so it's using. Yeah. Okay. So anyway, but then it goes into the back end, Node.js, TypeScript for type safety, which I think is a good idea. I think that'd be better for AI code generation for sure. The GraphQL API, sure. Apollo server for that. Postgres for primary database, right? I think that works. Redis for caching. Cloud infrastructure, so we're getting the AWS, Google Compute, containerized using Docker Kubernetes. It does mention somewhere. So I said let's start with the cloud infrastructure, since I'm very cost sensitive, right? So I was thinking AWS and Google Cloud are both pretty pricey, maybe for what I'm trying to do, and I've heard a bunch of other developers using you know, other kind of cheaper versions of this, right? So I said, what would the cheapest provider be to get started until I can get my first customers to begin generating revenue, right? So an app of this size is small. I don't need much bandwidth. I don't need much disk space. So what can I do until I get my first customer? So hold on a second. I don't know why that door's cracked open. Hold on. Sorry. So my kids are sleeping and I'm sitting here talking through all of this, you know, on stream, and I just want to make sure the doors are closed so that it doesn't kind of wake them up at all. All right. So for cost-sensitive startup, it says you can use Versal and Planet Scale with Neon database, and then, you know, say, right, there's like 3 gigs of storage free. I mean, 3 gigs is a lot of text data, right? Free tier includes 100 gigabytes of bandwidth, right? Like, that's so much until I get to 100 gigs of bandwidth, right? 5 gigs of storage for Planet Scale, 3 gigs for Neon. Like, those are really good options. So I'm gonna say, okay, so and I don't know anything about these providers, honestly, right? But it knows that I need containerization, right? So I like the suggestion to use Versal with Planet Scale and Neon. Walk me through setting these up. Okay. So guide me through setting up the infrastructure step by step. So first thing we're going to do, we're going to have to go to versal.com. So versal.com. And we can see the complete platform for the web. Start deploying, get a demo. Okay, so I'm going to run these side by side here. And it's saying install the Versal GitHub app when prompted. Okay, go to Versal and sign up with your GitHub account. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to sign up. Okay, your first deploy is just a click away. Okay, so I'm working on commercial projects, working on personal projects. Let's go back here. Let's talk about products, solutions, resource. I understand. What is this? Platform powered by AI apps on the web. Build AI application at scale. Manage infrastructure, open source frameworks. Leonardo AI, cutting build times from 10 minutes to 2 minutes. Okay, I don't think that's it. I don't want AI front end. Okay. Pricing. So, hobby. Okay. Everything you need to build and scale your web app from 10 to 20. From $20 a month. 10 times more. Infrastructure. So started with V0, generate quality UI, ship applications, and then start building. Okay. Alright, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and see here. Community support, web application, firewall, DDoS mitigation, traffic performance sensors. Okay. Alright, so when we sign up, we're gonna sign up as a personal hobby for now. My name. Okay. And continue with GitHub. Okay. Verify your GitHub identity. I need to. Okay, so that should be just me. Okay, email address. Resources on your account. Okay, alright, so authorize. Okay. Alright, so I did it. This will allow automated deployments. Okay, so starting, yeah, okay, so visit Neon Tech. So we're gonna go ahead. Okay, we're gonna go to neon.tech. And we're gonna sign up for a free account. Create a new project. Okay, so I guess we should probably also sign up with GitHub here. Okay. We want automation, remember, so that's what we're gonna do here. Okay. Get started for free. So create a new project. Project name. You'll get a connection string. Save this connection string securely. You'll need it later. Okay, so securely. We're gonna need a place. So we're gonna go to Drive. We're gonna go to projects here. Home, my drive. Things are slow. I'm guessing due to all of my stuff. Come on, my drive. Projects. And AI software. Okay, so. Important info. Okay, so we're gonna call this. Oh, what did we call it over here before? On the D drive. Project user vote. Okay, so let's just call it user vote. Cloud service provider, AWS, Azure. I guess it doesn't really matter all that much. We're gonna just leave it on Azure. Create that. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and choose your preference, connection. Postgres. Copy code. Save it off. Okay, we'll need it later. Okay, so develop environment. Install Versal CLI. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and start a command prompt. And on a Windows PC. Please make sure the codes are geared are will work in this environment. Okay, install GitHub desktop optional but helpful on Windows. Okay, well we could do that. Okay, sign up with GitHub, install the versatile GitHub app when prompted. Okay. Okay, so we're gonna do this. I don't have a repository yet. Install on your personal account for these projects. This applies to all current and future repositories owned by the resource owner. Repositories. Okay. Please select one repository. Also includes public repository. Install. You are ready. Authenticate using the button below. Okay, so passkey. Continue. To use passkeys as device verified, you use this. So I'm using my phone to verify. Bluetooth is disabled. No, it's not. Okay, so there we go. So now when I set up a new code repo, it'll be able to flow into here and be able to be seen. Okay, good. I don't have GitHub desktop. I should probably get that. Let's go ahead and get that. It's not the best, but it works. So we're gonna go ahead and download now. Hoping we don't really need it, but we'll do it just in case. Can't hurt to have some tools. Like I said, it's been so long since I've actually done developing. All right, horror for the numbers check. Oh. Where'd it go? There it is. Twitch stream to me. I don't do this for the numbers, but you know, by God, I do love the numbers. So one follower, this follower is Liam, my son. So thank you, Liam, for the follow. I know you're not. I don't stop looking. I'm such a whore. I'm like, oh. All right. So GitHub desktop. Install. So streaming on both, I'm streaming on both Twitch and YouTube right now, and it definitely this organization allows the application access organization data. Yeah, okay, whatever. Okay. Use my GitHub account, email address, sure. Alright, so there we go. So we got GitHub desktop. Alright, cool. Go to Vercel, sign to GitHub. Okay, we did that. Now we got the Neon free account, start a new project, save the connection string securely. We did that. Windows development environment set up, so we need a PowerShell, which I was running everything else. Yeah, okay. Let's see here. So let's set execution policy remote signed. Okay. The execution policy helps protect you from scripts that you do not trust. Change the execution policy might expose you to the security. Okay. Let's see. Do you want to change the execution policy? We're gonna say yes. Access to policies key. PowerShell is denied. Change the execution policy for the default local machine scope. Start Windows PowerShell and run as administrator. Okay, so let's try this again. Run as administrator. Yes. Alright, now here we go. Set execution policy. Signed. Okay, now we got npm -i. Oops, npm install i-g globally Vercel. So we're just installing Vercel's. Okay, log into Vercel. This will open your browser. Okay. Alright. So let's see here. Now we're gonna do Vercel login. With GitHub. And that's gonna open up a browser. Vercel CLI success. Vercel authenticated. Okay, you can close this tab and return to CLI. Okay, cool. Well, that's fun. Alright. We don't need that open. Okay. Actually, this should go to the background and go down, so I don't get hacked, I guess. But all right, so okay, that's good. That's good. Okay, so now we say project setup. Okay, so CD, navigate to where you want your project. All right, let's just do a. Let's go here. Let's we go to the C drive. Let's just do a projects, new folder, projects. Let's just do it on the C. I have the D drive, but it's really because I have a bunch of freaking game data from games filling up the C drive, honestly. Kyle knows about that. So I have 135 gigs free. I'll move a bunch of Steam stuff from C to D and free up space if I have to, but I like this. Okay, so we're gonna CD projects. Alright, so we're in projects now. It wasn't capitalized, was it, I guess? Alright. I guess it is. It just don't matter really, right? Okay, so create a new Next.js project. Okay, npx create next app at latest feedback app. We're on TypeScript, Tailwind, and ESLint. Okay. We're calling it feedback app. Okay, so that's fine. Need to install the following package. Create next. Yes. Would you like your code inside of a source directory? I normally do. Yes. Yes. Would you like to use app router? Yes. Yes. Would you like to customize the import alias set by default? No. Alright. So, installing dependencies of React DOM, TypeScript, PostCSS. Okay. Cool. Success. Alright, we're gonna cd into feedback app. Cool. So we already I actually named the application already for me. So we're just gonna go with it. And then instantiate, and we're gonna do Vercel. Okay. Okay, so environment settings, set up and deploy. So initialize Vercel project Vercel. We're gonna say yes. Which scope should contain your projects? I only have one scope. Link to existing project. No. The Vercel command is asking if I would like to link to an existing project. What does that does that mean an existing Vercel project? Yes, when Vercel CL asks if you want to link to an existing project, asking about existing project in Vercel account, just go select no. To linking to existing projects will prompt Vercel to create a new project. As you confirm the project name. Okay. Which project name? Feedback app. Which scope to deploy it to? Which directory is your source located? Says Vercel. We'll set the project up. Okay, so local settings detected and Vercel. Okay, so build command, next build, development, want to modify. Output directory default. Okay, do I want to modify these? No. Okay, linking to so it actually address what a specific issue. Okay, so it can actually prefer to use VS Code. It can give me. Okay, so I will tell it from now on that I want to use VS Code. So. Also add this in Vercel's dashboard under settings environment variables. Okay. Okay, so I do prefer using VS Code code as my editor and environment of choice. Please ensure that you provide specific set up instructions for that on Windows. I already have VS Code installed. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and we're going to create in a project root. So projects, here the feedback app root. I need to create a new file. It needs to be .env.local. Yes, and then we're going to open this up with VS Code. And we're going to say this. And then we're going to go pull this. And we're going to plop that in here. There. Okay. And we also need to open up the Vercel app and save it as an environment variable in here. So let's go refresh this. In Vercel. Okay. Dashboard. Okay, feedback app. Environment variables. Okay, so we need an environment variable. We need to set up a database URL variable. Key. Database URL. And it needs to be this. Okay. I don't know if we need that. I'm gonna go ahead and save it. If enabled, you will not be able to read the values after creation. Okay, so alright, so create a key. Okay, so we got that. Okay, so now this alright, let's see what we said here about VS Code, which we got VS Code open. Close that. Put that over there, put this over here. Okay, so let me help you set up VS Code optimally for this project. Since you already have VS Code installed, let's configure it with the essential extensions and settings for Next.js TypeScript. Okay, so open VS Code, install these extensions. Alright, let's go to extensions, and we're going to type in ESLint from Microsoft. Here, we're going to install that. Okay, and then prettier, so okay, makes sense. Install. Okay, this says what, JavaScript, TypeScript nightly, JavaScript and TypeScript nightly. Okay. Again, we're trusting the AI here to, you know, be our Tailwind CSS IntelliSense. Okay, we're going to install that. I'll make this a little bit bigger so we can see it. Alright. And then it says get lens, okay. From Optional but very helpful. Okay, well, let's go ahead and do that. Okay, well, we don't need to open Git lens right now. We'll just wait. Okay, and then we're going to go ahead and say GitHub Copilot. Oh, I don't have that. I do not have. Well, line coding suggestion. Okay. Well, maybe it's already. Okay, it's installed. So, AI chat feature powered by Copilot. Copilot chat. Oh, okay, I see. All right, and then well, I can always buy it anyway. It's cheap. Thunder client, like Postman, but inside VS Code. Okay, cool. I like that. All right, and then configure VS Code settings for this project. Press Control Shift P. Okay, so let's close the extensions. Let's do Control Shift P. Okay, and we're gonna settings. Select preferences, open workspace settings. Open workspace. JSON. Open user settings. JSON. Open default settings. Does not have. I don't see an option for preferences, open workspace, space settings, JSON. Could it be named something else? Oops. Control Shift P. First make sure it works. Okay, file overall, select your feedback folder. Oh, okay, so here, open folder, and we want to make sure we're in the feedback app select folder. Okay. Yes, I try these others. Okay, so now, okay, there we go. Workspace settings. Okay, JSON. There it is. Got it. Okay. Alright, so then we need to set this. Okay. We'll save that. Incorrect type, expected string. True triggers code actions only when explicitly saying this value will be deprecated in favor of explicit. Okay, well. Controls whether source fix all ESLint actions should be run on file save. True triggers code actions only when explicitly saved. This will be deprecated in favor of explicit. Okay, well. create a dot prettier RC file in the project root. Okay, so here, new file, dot prettier RC. And then in here, we're going to say this. Okay. And then open PowerShell to open your project in VS Code from your project directory. Just do code dot, yeah, okay. Terminal setup for VS Code. Use PowerShell or Git Bash. We're gonna embed it. Everybody using commands. Okay. Open terminal VS Code with control. Oh, so my keyboard is giving me a bit of a fit here because I don't have that key. So I just pull up new terminal. There we go. Okay. To change default terminal, press Control Shift P. Type select default profile. Select default profile and choose your preferred terminal. We're just gonna go PowerShell, I believe. Yeah, we're gonna go PowerShell. Okay. Use VS Code shortcuts. Control space, shortcut suggestion, format document, go to definition. Okay. Move forward with setting up the project structure. Configure any additional VS Code settings. Okay. All right. Thank you. The first method worked, and I have now finished all of the previous VS Code setup instructions. I chose PowerShell as my default terminal. Okay. Hello. Lo-fi stopped. What happened? You stole it. You put Fred Boat. You stole my Yo.
Sorry, I stopped your music.
I know you stole my.
I didn't actually. I wanted to stop mine.
Oh.
There you go.
There we are. What game are you running? Apex?
Americans. Yeah, I uninstalled it, dude.
No.
Swear to God. Uninstalled.
Why? Was it the matchmaking stuff that killed you?
Dude, it was like I went from plat 3 almost to gold between 2 days. I was just absolutely got shit on.
Really?
It's the console. It's the controller. Like every single one that killed me, and I viewed, and then even the team. Zero recoil on every single freaking shot. That's pathetic.
Yeah, I know.
It's not even worth it. Sorry. Ain't doing it.
We'll see.
Can't do it no
24.
more.
We'll see. I mean, the rate that I'm going with this, I don't know how much actual gaming I'll do now that I'm kind of trying to get this underway. So we'll see, right? Like, I thought like, oh, I'll do this and I'll game some, but like, if I get momentum with this, I kind of get deep into something, and then things just kind of snowball. So, all right. So now we are at the point.
I'm gonna switch over.
Yep. Go ahead. All right. So says we should now be able to do an npm run dev. Okay. And then we should be able to start the Next.js. We should be able to see a running message and go to HTTP localhost 3000. And we have our Next.js page. Okay, so that worked, and I have the Next.js page. The next would be to create the project structure for a feedback application, set up additional developer tools. Next would be to start setting up the database schema and models. Should we create a code repo and deploy this to the code repo and pipelines so that it can be deployed to Vercel? That way we have the application running in the cloud with our pipeline set up. It's a great next step. Okay, so okay, so we're gonna okay, that'll close this. Alright, so we need to get in it. We are in the feedback app. Okay, make sure you're in the okay, we're gonna get in it. Reinitialize existing Git repository, okay, and then code dot git ignore, and then add these entries. So we've got node modules, got PMP. Okay, so the .pmp.star will cover the PMP.js. Testing/coverage, Next.js, next and out, production/build, okay. .dsstore.pem, okay, we got that. We got .env, star.local. I guess .env star does work, but okay, we'll just do that. Vercel. Actually, .env star works for everything. TypeScript, tsbuild, star. Okay, and then next env.d. Okay, and then we do have a .vercel. Okay, good. Create GitHub repository. Go to github.com. So let's go do that. Let's get over to let's do that. github.com. And then okay, we need a new repository. And repository name. Feedback app. Keep it private if you prefer. You choose private. Don't initialize with readme since we already have a local repo. Okay, so create repository. Alright, here we go. Now, connect and push your, okay, so PowerShell, we need a git, oops, make sure you're in here, git, add, detected dubious ownership of repository project is owned by built-in administrators, but the current user is to add an exception for this directory, call git config global git config global add safe dot directory c colon projects feedback app. Okay, now git add dot okay, and then we need a git commit dash m initial commit. Okay, and then we're going to do a git branch dash m main and git remote add origin and then this. Okay, and then git push origin main. Okay. Just gotta sign in, authorize. Okay. Cool. All right. Okay, set up Vercel deployments. Go to your Vercel dashboard. All right. Let's go over here into Vercel dashboard. Go to click add new project, import your Git repository. I think we already got it. Oh, connect GitHub repository. Connect. Okay. So to update your production deployment, push to the main branch. Okay. I think it's actually ready. Okay, I didn't even need to hit deploy. Okay, so alright, it looks like the connection from GitHub to Vercel is active and the Next.js app is working in Vercel. Okay, long chats cause you to reach users so much faster. Start a new chat. Okay. Alright, perfect. Now that we have our deployment pipeline working, let's set up the database schema using Prism ORM, which works well with XJS TypeScript. Okay, first install Prism. So, okay, so we're going to get back over here to here. And we're going to want to do an npm install Prisma -- save - dev. Okay. So I think this might be the last step for tonight. I wanna, I gotta make steady progress with all of this. I need to make sure I keep getting my right sleep, in order to be able to do my day job and put time on this in the evening, after the kids go to bed. So far my stream is, it's an hour and a half. Another half hour gets me about 2 hours in, so I think it'll be good. Okay. Alright, so npm install at Prisma client. Okay. Initialize Prisma in your project, and we're gonna do npx Prisma init. Okay. There we go. Good. And then let's see here. Configure the database connection in the generate.env file with your neon connection string. Okay. So save that. We don't need to get ignore anymore. Okay, we did that, and then let's create the initial schema in Prisma / Prisma.Prisma. Based on your requirements, we'll need modules for users, applications, and feedback. Okay. So source. Okay, so this has got provider, Postgres, ENG. Okay. So then generator client, we're just gonna basically just copy this whole thing. And we're gonna load it here and just get rid of the duplicated line here. I'm gonna save that. Okay. I'm good that they added an admin role. That's good. And then feedback status open, under review, and plan and progress. Okay, good. Create and apply the initial integration. So npx Prisma migrate dev -- name init. Okay. And let's see if that works. It said, so client cannot be defined because generated with a name already exists. Oh, I already had that in there. Okay. Okay. I'm gonna try that again. Okay. Alright. So your database is now in sync with your schema. Okay. Okay. So would you like me to set up a database client utility for use throughout the application? Create initial API routes for these models. Add some seed data to test the schema. Also, please let me know if you'd like to modify any aspects of the schema before we proceed. One message remaining until 2 a.m. Subscribe to Pro. So, Pro plan, $20 a month. Access to projects, to organize documents and chats, ability to use more models, Claude Opus, early access to features. It looks like this chat has got me to the point where I've now reached basically my limit for Claude for the day. So that's interesting. And it says 5 times the chats, right? So I'm going through all of this and using it. Interesting. Okay, so if I was gonna work on this for all day, yeah, I've been working on this for an hour and a half. I may come up to a point where an 8-hour session gets me to the end of my usage for the day with even on a pro account. So that'd be interesting. So, okay. So if we start a new chat, though, am I gonna lose? Let's create let's do number 1 and set up the database client utility. So I'll help you set up the database client utility that we can use throughout the application. This will help us maintain a single database connection instance. Okay, first let's create lib directory in your project root and add a Prisma TS file. Client, okay, set up. Ensures we reuse the same Prisma client instance throughout the application. Prevents multiple instances during development. During hot reloading. Handles the connection properly in both development and production. Now let's create a test utility to verify our connection. Create a new file lib-tb.ts. TS. Okay, for test. Let's create a simple API route to test the connection. Okay, well this gives me a little bit to do here. So I'm going to do this. I'm going to see if I can get it all correct. And then we'll call it a night. And then I will come back to this chat tomorrow. And I'll see. My guess is that because the chat's so long, that's been data points that this has to reference things. So I'm gonna have to figure out how to be able to give this thing the context it needs during the sessions, right? And break those contexts into smaller sessions, smaller chats, so that I'm not using so many resources in all the data points, right? From a long chat like this. Really interesting problem we've run into on the limits of processing long chat strings with Claude. But we've kind of created a nice big long model or whatever, a bunch of data points here back and forth in the output, so it's interesting. Okay. I mean, it's pretty cool that I had a physical limitation, and I'm currently, everything's working so far. So we're gonna go ahead and do this next piece. So we need to do a make dir lib. Okay, so that adds a library. And then we need to do code lib prisma.ts. Just gonna open up that file and create it. And then we need to copy this code into that file. And we're gonna save that. And then, so then we're gonna do, let's create a test utility. So we're gonna let's do a code lib slash db.ts. Okay, we're going to copy this, save that. Okay, now let's create a simple API. So we're going to say code app API db-test slash route.ts TypeScript file here. So API db test route. And we're gonna go ahead, okay. And we're gonna go copy this, and we're gonna go ahead and save that. Okay, now we got ourselves problem. Cannot find the module at libdb or its corresponding type declaration. Okay. Update the versatile retirement variables. Okay, we already did the neon database variable there. But I'm out of messages till 2 a.m. So, tomorrow, we will come back to this, and we will then address the errors that we're seeing here. So, all right. Thank you all for joining me this evening, whoever you were. If you see this, you find it interesting, we're trying to build AI using build software using AI, and hopefully, you know, it's helpful, or at least we can try to explore the limits of where some things are right now. And yeah, so okay, have yourselves a really good night, and I'll see you again tomorrow.